We saw a film.
We saw Doctor Strange just now. Like, literally, like, a few minutes ago.
Then we walked home. We tried to get chicken and it didn't work.
No, we could have got chicken. It just, the 2-for-1 snack box thing is only until 7. We'll go next week.
It didn't work.
We'll get chicken next Tuesday.
No chicken.
There
was crying.
No, we did not cry. We had a pizza. She's got a frozen pizza. I'm going to make pizza out of little mini nuns and leftover kebab from the other night. So.
But you all came here to see something else.
So, spoiler-free version first?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was really good.
Really fucking good.
This is probably the best Marvel movie I've seen.
I don't know if I quite...
I said that I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know if I quite agree, but it's definitely not one of the weak ones. Marvel's still not done a bad one, but this is definitely not even one of the weaker ones.
No, well, okay, I'm going to say first, because it's the first thing on everyone's mind, is the effects are fucking amazing. Like, I actually said to her, this is what The Matrix should have been like, but I mean, I understand they didn't have the technology back then, but...
I have seen reviews from people comparing it basically to mind-blowing new levels of action cinema. You know, they're comparing it to The Matrix, saying the first time since The Matrix they've been totally blown away in this way. And it's like, I was never a fan of The Matrix, so I'm not so blown away by that, but yeah, they definitely do... They do interesting things.
It's magic, but it's not Harry Potter. Like, I mean, I used to play a lot of Mage the Ascension back in Old World of Darkness, and a little bit of Mage the Awakening, and all I could think of, and yes, I'm going to tag you, is, oh my god, Derek the Bard is going to go mental for this. Like, this is like, wow, this is how I would conceive of true magic in the World of Darkness RPG system. So that was just beautiful. Very beautiful.
I want to know who originally came up with the idea of taking Inception and weaponizing it.
Weaponizing Inception.
Very, very
I can't wait to play the video game.
And I cannot wait until, Scott Derrickson, the director, said that he wants to do a sequel. He wants to go even weirder with it. I think he said that was just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do.
Yeah, and it was like Doctor Strange.
So, I want to see Doctor Strange 2, which... This has gone 90% of the way, or 80 or 90% of the way to full Kirby, but... Sorry, not full Kirby, full Ditko, but not quite. We have this section.
This hasn't gone 100% Jack Chick. Who died yesterday? Wah, wah, wah. Okay. I made this review topical just now.
There's a bit where Strange gets thrown through all these dimensions and stuff, and you can see that they were getting there with Ditko. It was like, oh, it was so cool. It's like the bit at the end of Ant-Man where he shrinks, but times even about 15. Better.
Wow.
And I just want to reiterate, I want to get this on camera again. After seeing this, I'm even more convinced that the big altering thing at the Avengers 3, where Thanos, because, you know, destroy the world, ooh, big whoop. Destroy the universe, ooh, big whoop. It's going to be destroy the multiverse. Kill everything that could possibly live. And they're going to use this as a way to connect with Marvel films that were not done by Marvel. I don't know if it'll be the actual currently being produced Fox films, if they're still doing them. Or, I think more likely, what they will do is they'll find ways to include Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Possibly Spider-Man 3.
Could they not just pay the rates for the footage?
No, they could, yeah. Very easily. Very, very easily. There's economic reasons why this is very easily done. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to do something like that. They might even just show little clips from the other universes, from the other Marvel films, to show that they're destroying every single possible Marvel universe, and so that maybe like, oh, the X-Men's world's going to be destroyed. Oh, look, there's Blade for some reason. You know, like, you just buy little bits of footage or alternate takes.
Yeah.
And I am even more convinced after seeing this, that's going to be the big what the fuck thing in Avengers 3. Or possibly 4.
Like, I think if you want to look back to our vlog that we did of the original Avengers in 1970s Division, because I had an app that did that, you know, I said that, look, I'm not a comic book fan. I never really was, and I always felt quite resentful about superhero movies and superhero comics because it was not one of my areas of geekdom, and I was pretty bullied by other geeks and made to feel pretty shitty about that. So I always held this kind of stuff at arm's length, and I said I didn't quite fancy this movie because it didn't bring, as a non-comics person, it was, you know, it was good, but it didn't bring me in. And I can honestly say, because that was 2011.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that over the past 5 years, Marvel has really done its job to bring me in. And as the credits were finishing up, like before the stingers, because, yeah, we'll get to that, I was actually thinking, I want to read the Doctor Strange comics. I want to see if I can buy, like, a huge omnibus or a trade paper collection. I want to read this. you know, and that's like it's my moment. It's like my moment of bonding.
And it was very
somewhere Lewis cries a single tear. Someone's come to comics.
It was very timely, the film getting released a week earlier here in the UK, because last night...
It's not really timely, because we made it timely.
Well, you know, it synced up quite well, because whenever we moved into the flat together, I've been using... we're using Omega's PlayStation 4, and so I brought my copy of Lego Marvel, and I accidentally deleted the save file that was on it, on her computer, so I've been replaying it, and last night we just got access to the Sanctum Sanctorum sub-level, and so she was introduced to Doctor Strange in Lego version yesterday, and then, you know, today we went to see Doctor Strange, so that was nice.
Of course, Captain America died a shit ton of times trying to get Spogs, while a certain Iron Man was lasering everything.
I had to laser everything.
Just saying.
It was necessary.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks. It was Civil War.
Alright, so what else was good that's not include spoilers? I feel like everyone who acted in it brought up their A game, and I was like, that was Rachel McAdams?
Apparently so.
I'm not good with faces, so I'm always like, hey, who's that person? Like, they were in an advert, you know. But, like, she actually seemed like she did a really good job. Like, I don't know why I have a negative feeling with Rachel McAdams.
I've never seen her, and I don't know her, so I was like, oh.
I think she was in a movie that I didn't like, and I can't remember what it was.
I was just like, oh, that's a blonde woman who's probably been in films I'm no interest in seeing.
Well, she might not really be a natural blonde, you know. Actors and actresses can change their hair.
I know, but she had blonde hair in this. I didn't recognize her. But,
well, anyway.
Yes. But non-spoiler stuff. Personally, I would not have cast Benedict Cumberbatch, and I still...
You don't like him, though.
I was really looking forward to this film, because it was like Marvel had done nothing wrong, and then... Nothing seriously wrong. And then I heard Scott Derrickson was directing, and I was like, I liked Sinister. I'm interested to see this. Then they cast Benedict Cumberbatch, and I do not like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay, I have a soft spot for Benedict Cumberbatch, and I'll tell you why. My professor, who I had last year, and who's acting as my supervisor for my dissertation, kind of looks a wee bit like Benedict Cumberbatch. So now, because, you know, my professor's kind of like academic mentor, like, now I really, like that, I have a soft spot now for Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm like, well, maybe he'll just talk to us about psychology a wee bit before he kills the bad guys.
Well, you know, my issue with Benedict Cumberbatch is, he does seem to have a little bit of a knob in interviews.
Oh, why? Wasn't he racist that one time?
I have no idea if he was racist, but I remember one where he was a bit. He came across as a bit classist. Remember, he is from upper crust English.
I'm sorry about the autofocus. We don't really have good lighting in this room yet, so it might fizz in and out. We're working on that.
Oh, sorry.
It fuzz, but I'm letting
sorry. But yeah, a lot of people like him. He's got a very good deep voice for voiceover stuff. It's just, as an actor, I'm just like. Not a big fan. I mean, plus, you know, he played Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, and it's like, I really
That was a really bad Star Trek movie, though.
It was a terrible Star Trek movie, and Khan really should have been played by someone a lot browner.
Yeah, a lot more Klingon looking.
Or they... What?
Like, you know, like...
Khan's meant to be Indian.
I thought he was a Klingon.
No. Khan's Indian, even though he was played by Ricardo Montalban in the original.
I thought he was a Klingon.
No, he's an Indian.
Oh,
he's a Sikh.
He's an Earthling. He's an Inhuman.
He's from.
I thought he was a Klingon.
He's from 21st century Earth.
That's the only one that I didn't see was the Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan was good.
I just assumed because he had a name like Khan, I assumed he was a Klingon.
No, it's
a kind of Klingon name.
Khan Singh is his name.
Well, it still sounds like a Klingon name.
Okay, but he If, like, for instance, if in Star Trek Into Darkness would have been improved at least 3% if he'd been playing Joachim, Khan's assistant from Wrath of Khan, rather than Khan, and he wanted revenge because Khan was dead, would have been okay with that. But
you just don't like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, plus he took hard work.
At least it wasn't like Eddie Redmayne or someone like that.
Eddie Redmayne's even worse.
He's
Cumberbatch without the voice, without the decent voice.
I'm sure. Don't take me wrong. I'm sure Eddie Redmayne is a perfectly nice guy. Interpersonally, but he just kind of looks like if you say hi to him in the wrong tone, he might run away crying. He just has that kind of face.
Eddie Redmayne got an Oscar the same year Michael Keaton was in Birdman, and it's like Eddie Redmayne should have had that Oscar retroactively taken away for fucking Jupiter Ascending.
What did he win the Oscar for?
Theory of Everything.
Oh, yeah, but Stephen Hawking though.
I know, but Keaton should have got that.
Yeah, Keaton did do a really good job in Birdman, even though I don't like
Cumberbatch also took a role from a hard-working dragon actor whenever he played Smaug. We could have got a dragon to play that part. It would have been far more authentic.
I just like that, like you pointed out, like Martin Freeman has a part in the Marvel Universe now, so I'm just like so excited that they always just keep coming back together.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be a little bit in one of the Avengers films.
There has to be, that'd be great.
But yeah, for Strange, I was of the opinion, and I'm still of the opinion, especially if he could improve his accent, that Littlefinger should have played, Aidan Gillen should have played Doctor Strange.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Imagine him here, we could dub him over with his lines from Scorch Trials. Oh, Dormammu, you won't survive one day in the Scorch!
I would love to run into him at, like, Belfast or something while they're filming in Northern Ireland. And be like, alright, dude, you're so good in Game of Thrones. Why did you say yes to the Scorch Trial? Like, I was under contract, okay?
He was like, I was also in The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises as well.
He's like, all they pitched to me was evil Steve Jobs. And I was like, I'm in, and then look what happened. So, yeah.
But yeah, even though I'm not a fan of Cumberbatch, that was my main issue with the film. Also, Tilda Swinton is fucking amazing, but
she was really good.
Probably shouldn't have played the Ancient One.
Say the whole reason why, because I'm not sure that everyone knows the reason why. Because everyone's been saying it's whitewashing.
The Ancient One is meant to be Tibetan, and the place where Doctor Strange learns magic is meant to be in Tibet, not Nepal. And Marvel were like, oh, okay, if we have a Tibetan Ancient One and set it in Tibet, then China won't let us release our film there, and we'll lose a bunch of money. So they were like, okay, how do we get around this? Before I gave this any deep thought, my feeling was James Hong should play the part. Because, Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China, but then, someone pointed out that having a Chinese actor play the Tibetan part would be even worse. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so they went for Tilda Swinton, and they explicitly state that she's Celtic. I don't know if they mean that she's thousands of years old, because, Irishy, Welshy, Scottish people today aren't referred to as Celtic. Well, that's a bit like referring to someone from Bulgaria as Thracian.
Maybe she's a Pict. I've got a friend. No, just kidding.
But, so I was thinking what the best way to handle this probably would be, if you're putting the fucking place where he learned magic in Nepal, make the character Nepalese. Or, to make it completely different and put the place in, like, South America, because South America's never done much in the
like Machu Picchu or something like that.
Yeah, Peru, high up in the Andes or something, and then give out South American acting.
Or like that.
And,
but I was thinking that people would be like, no, it's not original. Whinge.
Yeah, it was.
Whinge.
It was never going to be original, unfortunately.
Well, I'm just saying.
But yeah, I love Tilda Swinton. Oh shit!
There's something happening outside.
Yeah, I hope that's not overpowering us too much. Cunts.
They're doing roadworks. It's not making the audio peak that much, so.
They do roadworks in the middle of the night.
Mm. Well, they're redoing the drains and the diamond. It's complicated.
So yeah, Swinton, I think, should have been saved for another role, probably. But, she did fine. She was good. It was great. And that's the end of the spoiler-free stuff, I think. So, yeah. So, spoilers! Tell you what, the scene where he crashes his car had me twitching because I have issues. I've been in a few accidents, none of which were actually my fault, but, like, dangerous driving kind of makes me twitchy, especially since I know a car crash is, like, coming at the end of the song. Like, that part in, like, The Matrix where they were having the fight on the highway, I just couldn't. We're watching. Triggered. We were near the start of it, and she sort of leant over and goes, he's not that much of an asshole. And then, of course, he immediately starts off with even worse asshole stuff. Because I warned him. He was an asshole for driving that way, because what happened to the person who he hit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he was also... Well, I was expecting, like, Tony Stark to 11 levels. This will be a reference, I was expecting Dr. Rocket Romano levels of assholishness. See what I did there? I'm sorry I gave you that impression. It's more like he's an arrogant cunt, and he's nowhere near as entertaining as Tony Stark. He's just... Who can you describe? In this one, they did soften his assholiness a bit, but when he was angry at his girlfriend? Mm-hmm. That level of assholiness is how he always is? More like that when a pre-accident Doctor Strange. He's pretty nasty individual, at least in the comics. I'm not a massive Doctor Strange reader. But I like the thing that he was like, that was like, well, I'll have to harvest this person for organs. Like, no, he's not dead yet. And, like, a bit of the hair and, like, the voice and, like, the gray at the temples reminds me of my uncle. And my uncle is a cardiologist in New York City. He's been for years and years and years, and he's a surgeon as well. And one year, my mom says to me, she's like, oh, well, your Uncle Gary is going to be, he's going to be driving down tomorrow.
he's not coming with Philip and Ginny. And I was like, oh, is everything okay? She's like, yeah. Well, he was seeing one last patient, and the guy was at his office, and he realized he was having, a cardiovascular event, so he drove him to the nearest hospital to operate. And I was like, Jesus! That's a really good reason to be late for Christmas. So, like, a little teeny bit reminded me of my Uncle Gary, so. Yeah. But yeah, what's the spoiler part? Again, spoilers, but you know better if you're watching this part. At the end, where he puts that Eye of Artifact back.
Eye of Agamotto.
The magical MacGuffin. And your man's like, well, yeah, it's probably a good idea you leave it there. You can't go walk around with an Infinity Stone around your neck. I was like, Jesus, Infinity Stone.
Yep, it's the Time Stone. They don't actually say it's the Time Stone, but given what it does, it's the fucking Time Stone.
Now, has he always, in the comics, been in control of the Time Stone?
No.
Or is that just for
No, the Eye of Agamotto is a different item that they've merged with an Infinity Stone. Like the Tesseract was the Cosmic Cube.
You're just wearing it like some kind of, amulet you got from Hot Topic. And it's got a fucking Infinity Stone that,
it's in
bloody
the comics,
well melts people.
In the comics, it's really powerful anyway.
Oh.
It's just, for simplicity, they've taken these artifacts from the Marvel Universe and sort of merged them to make, to give them, they were more like actual gems just flying around and do it. People held on to them, Drax the Destroyer had one for a while and he swallowed it.
Well, he would.
Well, at the time, he had the mind of an 8-year-old. Oh. And there was this team called the Infinity Watch. That
even 8-year-olds know not to swallow magical gems.
He thought it was a jelly bean.
Except, maybe Steven Universe.
He thought it was a jelly bean. Basically, the Infinity Watch was set up to look after them after the glove was taken away from Thanos.
Oh, okay, fair.
And so Adam Warlock was like, each of you get an Infinity Gem. They put them on their foreheads and everything. And Drax was like, ooh, I got a jelly bean. And swallowed it. And it sort of merged with his intestinal tract.
Ew.
Yeah.
Speaking of Steven Universe, there's a really great part where he's like, all right, summon your weapon. I'm going to fight you. And I'm thinking, he's just going to draw it out of this gem. Because he draws the shield. And I'm like, go, Steven, go. So I know other Steven Universe fans will be plays with the Infinity Stone, Jelly Bean.
There's something I was going to mention.
Drax.
No, it wasn't about that.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, yes. I was convinced until we had a random piece of dialogue that this was going to be set, it was not going to be set after Civil War. Because, frankly, the idea of Doctor Strange doing this event after the Civil War and then being sort of like Sorcerer Supreme and whatever so quickly really sort of just didn't sit well with me. Plus, Jasper Sitwell mentioned Stephen Strange as one of the guys who the algorithm was going to kill.
Yeah, but they might have had their eye on him because it recognized that he had power, but he didn't realize that he had power.
Yeah, that kind of means that we call
Predestination Paradox.
That Toby Jones, I forget his name, Zola had the ability to read the probability of someone learning magic. I just wish it had been most of it had been set before Winter Soldier, but they didn't actually mention that.
Oh yeah, because didn't you say that, because they said, your man who was crushed wearing some kind of experimental armor.
Yeah.
And that was what happened at the end of Civil War.
Yeah, that was him, yeah.
And he was like, pass.
So if they had mentioned something, from earlier on, but something that was hard to recognize, and then just happened to have it set before then, and then you didn't actually realize it was set a few years beforehand, and then it means the stinger bit at the end means Doctor Strange has been set up and he's been the boss sorcerer for several years by that point, which strikes me as more believable.
That's true. But he also can control time sometimes, so...
This is true. That was
so you might have gone and... one thing I liked was he learns astral projection, and then he's sleeping while his astral soul is reading books and studying.
That's so fucking useful.
That's really neat. That was kind of like an I know Kung Fu kind of moment. But yeah. What else? It's just the effects were really cool. It just, it was like Harry Potter for grown-ups. The bad guy was kind of generic, if I gotta say anything about that, and he was kind of generic, but I really did like the purple sparkle eyes you get when you join the bad guy cult.
Well, with Caecilius, they didn't really, the Marvel film sort of villain issue continues. They give a couple of lines explaining his backstory, because he lost his family and he went there to try and be healed and to help things, and I think he originally went there trying to get the power to bring them back or something. That didn't work out. But why can they not do it? There were so many ways to get that across better.
Yeah.
Maybe if they...
I'm a generic bad guy. I want what is best for the world. It is an eternal life, or it all returns to white. or it gets reset. Like every bishy bad guy in every anime ever.
They probably should have started with a cold opening showing his family getting killed.
Yeah.
So that you would at least have that. But Marvel, the films, could really learn a thing or two from the Netflix show.
Yeah, so I guess if I had to
except when it comes to Diamondback. Don't do what they did with Diamondback. Please, God, don't.
But no, the fight scene in New York was really great. And I thought to myself, is this what somebody with a profound sensory disorder sees when they're walking into New York City? I was thinking about that. I was like, if someone was profoundly autistic or had a very, very, very severe sensory processing disorder, is this what they would perceive of New York?
Don't know.
No. But it makes sense that the Avengers weren't aware of the fight in New York City because it was occurring in the mirror zone, in the mirror realm, so nothing affected, so they wouldn't be able to know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't sense it, and besides, they're having a piss off anyway. And we got a Stan Lee cameo.
Oh, of course.
Oh, that was really cool.
Because he did co-create Doctor Strange.
Aye. But yeah,
it would have been
really good. It was really fun, and it was really exciting, and
it would have been really cool if they'd got a Steve Ditko cameo, but the guy is reclusive as all hell.
Very upset about it. But definitely go see it even if you're not a Doctor Strange fan. It's just
Marvel.
Good. It's just really good.
It's Marvel. They're good at what they do.
They are. And the best thing Disney did was just say, you know what? You do what you do best.
Yeah.
We will provide the money. We will provide, the distribution. We will, gladly take money from all of this as the proceeds. But you do what you do best. We're not going to interfere.
I'm beginning to formulate some sort of hypothesis that the entire world is a giant video game, and Kevin Feige is a kid playing the movies with fucking cheat codes on.
Who is Kevin Feige?
He's the boss of the MCU.
Oh, okay.
He produced other things before that, but he is the guy in charge.
I tell you what, they can't screw up. I mean, maybe they will. I mean, eventually they will.
They will
have to.
Obviously,
I think I read some blog about eventually they'll have a bad movie.
Well, yeah, it will. The longer it goes on, the probability will become 100%. It has to happen at some point.
Or just not producing.
But it'll take at least 2 or 3 in a row for it to go bad, because even if one's bad.
Yeah. Then
suddenly the next one will look awesome, and people will go for that.
That's true.
It's going to take a string of failures for Marvel to come off the tracks. But when it does, when the Marvel train comes off the tracks, it will be the funniest thing ever.
That's true.
It'll be so entertaining. But until then, I'm enjoying the ride because Marvel, they're doing well right now.
I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to Wonder Woman, but really only because it's a period piece set in World War I, because you don't really see that a lot. So we'll have to see,
Remember before we saw the Avengers, I was making the comment about how the Avengers basically it's being described as the most important development in sequential filming, cinematic storytelling since the invention of the sequel.
Yeah.
It's been proved right.
I guess I do have to agree.
Yeah, whenever the MCU ends, it will probably be the most important film series in film history.
You should probably
possibly not most instrumental, but
put an annotation link to the original Avengers vlog. I think it's on my YouTube somewhere.
I hope it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere. I'll find it for you. Don't worry about it. Anyway, if you want to see that, write the show. But no, I really don't. I mean, I didn't do that thing where I started tripping off wondering what I should make for dinner and looking at the set design and all that kind of crack. And it was...
The only upcoming Marvel film that I've got some trepidation about is Ragnarok, because, well, it was supposed to be originally destruction of the gods, really, really dark and stuff, and then I like Taika Waititi, who did What Would in the Shadows, and he was brought on to make it funnier.
Fantastically brilliant.
And then I find out that apparently Ragnarok's not a reference to Ragnarok, the destruction of the Viking gods. It's actually the name of a planet where the Grandmaster is putting slaves to make them gladiators, so it's more like Planet Hulk. And then Thor gets captured and put into the gladiatorial games with Hulk. These are just little elements that have been sort of leaked and rumors and things like that. And Hela is apparently in it and stuff like that. But I think, if I remember correctly, Waititi did an interview where he described its tone as more like Flash Gordon. So I'm like, not what I was expecting from Thor Ragnarok. I'm not opposed to the idea of a Marvel film in the mold of Flash Gordon, the 30s thing or the 80s one. It's just I really don't think it should have been Thor Ragnarok. That one screams
to
the
see.
need for
I mean, it might have been
darkness.
something like that before, and then, you know, they went through several levels of bureaucracy, and someone was like,
I mean, it's the most worried I've been about a Marvel film since Phase 1, but Marvel find it very hard to make mistakes. They do occasionally, but they find it hard.
Oh, you know what? This has nothing to do with Marvel the studio, but it reminded me a wee little bit of Full Metal Alchemist with the drawing of the sigils, and I thought that was kind of cool.
And you loved it.
I did. I really enjoyed it.
She wants a cloak of levitation.
Who doesn't want a cloak of levitation?
Pet cloak.
That'd be pretty cool. I could be like, cloak, fetch me something. It'll like throw it at my head or something. But tell you what. But no, I definitely endorse it. Go see it. You know you will. You don't need us to tell you that. Yeah.
And we saw the 2D version. According to a review, the 3D version it was filmed for 3D. It's not just a conversion. Apparently, the 3D version is well worth the money. I don't know if anyone here is actually doing it in 3D. So
probably
I
the
don't think I'll
Brunswick,
see
but
it.
you'd have to get a taxi. And
So see it in 3D.
although we should go to the
if you
Brunswick
can.
eventually, because remember I had that £15 voucher.
That's true.
Yeah. So eventually we should, but yeah, go see it. It's really great. Our several thumbs up. You know. Really, really enjoyable, and I don't say that often about movies. Though, of course, someone will probably go through all our vlogs and do like a supercut of me saying, it's really, really enjoyable. Really awesome, you should go see it. And I don't say that often. Like me-ception. But yeah, so that's been us, and probably what will we see next? What else is coming out soon?
I do not know. This is a bit of a dry period. I mean, there's the occasional horror film, but horror is more of me and Robin thing.
Yeah. So I guess the next really big one's going to be Rogue One. That's in December.
I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah, there'll be more things. There's nothing, no big releases.
We walked 10 minutes. We live 10 minutes from the cinema now. So.
Yeah, so it's just a walk and half price Tuesdays. And maybe next time we'll go to Hillbilly. There's a place called Hillbilly's Fried Chicken, and it's actually really good. We can go beforehand and get the 2-for-1 snack box that you're craving.